Hey, Net Builders, thanks for joining us for another episode. Today we have Ruth King with us. Now, Ruth King is the profitability master and also the author of the Ugly Truth book collection, which are pretty amazing. You've probably seen her on MSNBC. You've probably seen her on Fox Good Day, San Diego. But today we have the pleasure of having her here on Net Builders. I'm going to hand the floor over to her. And Ruth, introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, RJ, for having me. I'm so thrilled to be here. Appreciate it. Uh, I have been, I've been working with business owners, entrepreneurs, which, however you want to describe yourself, since 1981. So it's been about 40 years. And my goal and purpose in life is to give business owners the tools and processes to get and stay profitable, build wealth, and hopefully give back as a result of it. And I love it when the light bulb goes on. It is so cool when somebody, I got it. Why did I ever think this was so hard? I mean, I don't know what it is, but somebody way back when said financial statements have to be hard. And they incorporated that into the entire thinking process of small business owners and entrepreneurs, and it's not. I'm actually an engineer by training, and I found out that I loved, when I had not a class on financials or bookkeeping or any business classes in engineering school. And when I went to get my MBA, it was like the light bulb went on for me because I'm really, really good at explaining this, it turns out. So, what I would hope at the end of this time that we have together is that you look at your financial statements, number one, and don't be afraid of them. Go ask the questions. There's lots of books around. RJ mentioned my books, but there's tons of books around there that can help you. And, mine are written in English, the Ugly Truth About Cash and The Courage to Be Profitable and Profit or Wealth. And they are just in English. There are lots of stories in there, so it's not like reading a textbook. And I try to make it so that the light bulb goes on. Goes, we got it. So hopefully, RJ, you and I today can make it so that the light bulbs go on for a lot of your listeners and your viewers.
Definitely. Yeah, I hope so as well. And also, as she said, her books are in plain English. And I don't want you guys to think it's the language English. It's in layman's terms. It's for anybody to be able to pick up these books and read it. And it's like reading your favorite novel or reading anything. It just makes things so easy to understand. And I want to finish The Ugly Truth about small business myself because I love it how it's going. But yes. And also, I mean, two of her Ugly Truth books were named 2 of the 37 books necessary for startups to read. That's actually a pretty big accomplishment there.
Yeah, I'm in the company of Richard Branson and Napoleon Hill and Stephen Covey and Dale Carnegie. And it's like, to be included with that was pretty cool. That was absolutely really cool.
Favorite authors here. They've written some of the most amazing and timeless books, and yes, to be in that company is amazing. But people are gonna be picking up your book like, this is, mentors and business coaches. Hey, read this book. If you're not reading this book, I can't work with you. You're going to be one of those books.
That would be cool. Yeah. And I write them from a story perspective, more so than, a textbook perspective, because people read stories, they remember stories, and it's much better to teach through stories that I find rather than, okay, textbook A, page 1, read through boring page 1. Maybe I get it, maybe I don't. But if there's a story to attach to it, if you remember the stories, the stories is what gets us.
Definitely, I completely agree. So I imagine you've had to deal with a lot of different personalities and entrepreneurs and business owners. Do you get a lot, like initially when you start to work with them? Especially the ones that are, been running their business for a while, something's not working in their business, but they refuse. You get those people that are just stuck in their old ways and refuse to change, refuse to innovate and move forward. Do you get people like that?
Generally, no, simply because they know something's wrong and they want to fix it. Now, there are some who have their head over, in the sand and a blanket over their head and everything like that, and they're just going to do what they're going to do until one day it just blows up on them. But there's a lot of them who go, something's not quite right here. And, in the beginning, when you start a business, you don't know what you don't know. Mm. And so in those particular cases, go read the books, because it will absolutely help you understand what you don't know, and make you all right, I know I don't know this now. So then you go from I don't know what I don't know to now I know I don't know this to now I'm going to figure it out. And then you become the conscious competent towards the end of it. But the reality is most small business owners, when they start, don't have a clue about what they don't know. And most of them won't pay attention to the financial side of their business until one of three things happens. Number one, they're making so much money, which I hope you are, that they get this huge tax bill and they go, how did I get this huge tax bill? How did I make all this money? Where is it? Because it's in profit. It's not necessarily turned into cash yet. Number two, a vendor wants their money and you don't have it. Or number three, a customer's promised you a check today and payroll's due tomorrow and the check doesn't come today. And so, one of those three things generally happens before people start paying attention. Now, the really smart ones don't wait until that happens and they figure it out beforehand or they get help beforehand. But as a general rule, I come in when there is an issue or when there is a problem. Very rarely do I come in, except for some very smart people on the front end to help them grow where they want to grow.
Okay. Quick question.
Okay.
And this is a question I get asked a lot, but I don't have the answer, and I'm pretty sure you do. So I think it will help everyone. For a business owner, small or large, is it wise to have the same person run accounts payable and accounts receivable?
No, absolutely not.
I love how quick that answer came out. No.
Now, if you're a single person organization, the same person has to do payables and receivables. But there is a thing called separation of duties, so that you can be more confident, although they could get in cahoots with each other, but more confident that theft is not going on between the two. One of the other things you should never, ever, 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 ever do, and I don't say that very lightly, is have your bookkeeper sign checks. Unless it's your wife, all right? And I don't care whether it's your mother. I've had mothers steal, all right? So, you've got to trust the person implicitly. And somebody who is not a relative, if I were a bookkeeper, I wouldn't want check signing authority, because if for whatever reason I couldn't pay payroll taxes, the IRS can come after me because I'm a signatory on the account.
Oh.
So, you talk about separating payables and receivables, absolutely. But, even more critical than that is never let your bookkeeper sign checks, ever.
Ever.
Ever. All right, I'll give you an interesting story.
Okay.
One of my clients was going away for 2 weeks, and he had a signature stamp and had it for a really long time. And this is what brought this out. And I hate signature stamps. Forget it. They're awful. Get rid of it. So he said, well, I'm going to be gone. Well, his daughter happens to work in the business. And I said, all right, go hide it in the house. And then if the bookkeeper needs to write a check, she talks to your daughter calls you, and you tell her where the signature stamp is.
Okay.
Now, of course, no checks ever had to get written, but the bookkeeper was adamant that she got the signature stamp when he was going on vacation. Forget it. No, not happening. So that's what he did.
Wow.
And I almost got him convinced to get rid of it.
Almost that close.
Yeah, I'm about that close to him getting rid of it. But he never has to use it. It was just the bookkeeper. I mean, think about it. You give a bookkeeper a signature stamp. I can write checks to whomever I want. Stamp. I can write a check to me. Stamp. I can write a check to my brother. Stamp. My best friend. No.
And legally, I mean, you have permission.
That's right. You do. You have the signature stamp. Boom.
That's actually terrifying.
It should be terrifying.
Net builders, memo to self. Do not use a book stamp, a signature stamp.
Yeah, a couple of years ago now, I was talking, I did a talk on the ugly truth about cash, which is the 50 ways that people steal from you. And then I know you've read that. And I was doing a talk on it. This guy came up to me and excuse me for saying it this way, I'm not gonna say it, you scared the blank out of me. And I said, good. That means you'll do something about it.
Hey, but you know what? Fear is the biggest motivator, especially for business owners. You know, fear of loss of assets, fear of loss of cash flow, fear of your business going down, fear of loss of employees. I mean, I think that is ambition. You know, you have all of these different things that push and motivate you, but I don't think anything inspires an entrepreneur more than fear.
If you run your business through fear, you're not going to succeed.
Hmm.
All right. What am I afraid of? All right. I don't have enough cash in the bank. Okay. Terrific. How much cash do we need to put in the bank so that you will sleep well at night and get it? And then the fear goes. All right. One of the easiest way to do that is just to put 1% of every revenue that comes in the door in a savings account. So for example, if you get a check in the door for $1,000, you take $10 of that $1,000 and you put it in a savings account. All right, you still have $990 to do whatever with. Hopefully pay your bills, pay yourself, pay your payroll, pay your rent, whatever. But that $10, even though it doesn't seem like a whole lot, over a period of time actually becomes very large. And I've had many clients over the years, because I pretty much enforce this. I had one client, because I was talking about it and in a class, and he goes, can I tell a story? And I always let people tell stories. He goes, in the 1990s, you told us to do this. This is how long I've been telling people to do this. And I did it. And when the first, not this particular, like in the 2008, 2007, when the recession hit, he said the building next to me came up because the owner needed money and I bought it for next to nothing. Thank you. I wrote a check.
Wow.
He said, I just sold it. I am not telling you how much I sold it for.
Wow. From that 1%. 1%.
Just put 1% away. You never, ever, ever know when you're going to need it. Wow. And that doesn't mean when it gets really big, you get to go to the big boys and big girls toy store either. You got to save it. You got to put it away.
That's amazing advice, actually. And a light bulb just went off in my head. Like,
well, good.
And yeah, definitely. Wow, that's actually very easily implementable and immediate. Like that's something you could start today.
Yeah. And you can also not start it today.
And that would be detrimental to the health of your business, whoever it's not starting today, but it's great advice.
Yeah, 1% is not going to kill you.
No.
It really and truly is not. I have some who do 2% now, and a couple in really good times put 3%. However, it's just the consistent habit of check goes in the bank, transfer to savings. Check goes in the bank, transfer to savings. And it's just literally like that. And after you get used to it, you don't think about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's just done.
I love it. So sorry, that simple trick right there just blew my mind. It just really threw me off there. But it's so simple.
It is. It's easy.
Yeah. So the IRS.
Yeah, what about them?
How do you keep them out of your pocket?
Pay your bills. Pay your payroll taxes. They'll be out of your pocket.
Okay. So I don't know if this is a question that you would care to answer, but I still want to throw it out there.
All right.
I know that there are different business formations, LLC, S Corp, C Corp. At what point do you decide which one to use to make, to keep more profit in your pocket and less going to the IRS? And I'll give you an example because I know that's such a broad question. But say like a digital marketer or somebody that should be, that is a solopreneur that provides services, for instance. What do
Yeah.
you suggest for them?
That is a legal question and that is an accounting question, neither of which I do. So
Gotcha.
I would sit down, go find an accountant that you can be comfortable with,
Hmm.
not a bookkeeper, but an accountant who understands tax laws. And there's some lawyers who do both, and there's some accountants who do both. And go sit them down and say, okay, here's my goals. Here's what I want to do.
Hmm.
How do I pay the least amount of legitimate taxes? And see what they say.
Okay.
That would be what I would do, because I don't have time to keep up with tax law. I don't have time to keep up with the laws in the United States. That's what we have lawyers for, and that's what we have CPAs for.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And actually, I think that was a great answer. So what's next for you?
What do you mean, what's next?
What's next? What else? I'm you have so many accomplishments, accolades, and things that you've done. And I know you don't even look like you're ready to slow down. So
No, I'm not. I promise you I'm not. I mean, what's next is taking my classes that I do in person and putting them into virtual reality. That's really what's next. So
wow.
that they're not dependent upon me, that they're in a situation where if you have a question, I don't have to be there, because right now I have classes online. And if you take Making Financial Statements Fun and Sexy, which is an online class I have, if you have a question, you either watch it again or you call me on the phone or send me an email or send me a text. This way, from a virtual reality perspective, the questions automatically get answered. So, and that's really where, if you look at all the training and where it's going, it's headed in the cloud, it's headed into the virtual reality type training. I mean, the kids today, they got trained with, Oculus Quest glasses and, the stuff that they do. They don't live in the real world. They live in the world of games with all this crazy stuff in virtual reality, or at least online. I mean, it's headed that way.
Yeah.
So that's where everything, from my perspective, from a training perspective, is headed. So that's, one of the things that I'm doing. I started a group called Profitability Movement, which is for anybody who wants to join, who's interested in profitability. It's free to join the group, contribute, help, ask questions, stuff like that. And, that's another thing that I've just started. And there's 2 more books coming, but not yet.
See, when I asked you what's next, you're like, what do you mean what's next? And you have a whole bunch of stuff up your sleeve. No, I love it. How hard is it? Because that's a big step, moving to virtual reality. How hard is it for you to embrace innovation or embrace change?
It's not that. I mean, I know where it's going. And it's just, quite frankly, it's finding the programmers and finding the people who can shoot, video shoot, like camera shoots in virtual reality. Because that's, standing in a classroom and shooting it is not what we're going to need to be doing, because that is boring as whatever.
Beep.
Yeah.
Oh man. So do you still work with businesses now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the fun part. Not that writing is not fun, not that the online classes are not fun, but going back and just working one-on-one with a business owner wherever they are. I was just in California this past weekend, working with a client there, and I live in Atlanta. And I know you're on the West Coast. So, you just, wherever Delta goes, I go.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. So I asked that because it seems like you have a really, really great hold on the concept of time management.
You have to be very good at time management to do what I do.
But I think that there's a lot of people that do not, they suck at time management. Like, really, I'm just as bluntly, there's no beating around the bush with that.
Yeah.
What tips do you have for these? It's like this 24 hours in a day. I think 1,440 minutes in a day. And it's like they cannot complete simple tasks. Like, I usually tell them to write down a goal list for the day and then break those goals into separate tasks to complete one goal. And it really seems like they look at me and that light bulb you were talking about, it doesn't go off. Instead, I think it blows the little fuse in the middle, and I see a crack in the light bulb, and I'm like, how is this concept escaping you? So what do you suggest?
All right, they have to want to.
Hmm.
If they don't want to, I mean, you can't push a rope uphill. You know, something has to happen to them to make them want to do it. And if they don't want to do it, no matter how much they pay, I mean, how many people buy courses and then don't do them? I mean, come on, let's be real here.
Good point.
Why did you buy it? They're professional buyers. And maybe they just like to see all the little thingies on their shelf or whatever else it is, or, you know, in their email or whatever. But the reality is you make the time to do whatever you want to do, all right? And there's a book that Trevor Moawad wrote called It Takes What It Takes. And you can have all the excuses in the world, or you can do what it takes to get it done. It's your choice. I mean, it's ultimately your life and ultimately your decisions. And you can't complain if you're not putting the work in. Stop complaining.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, my rule working with clients is this. I'm not wasting your time, your money, and my time. Time is the most critical thing that we have. It's more important to me than money. And if you're not doing what I asked you to do, or either something's gone wrong and we have to figure out what it is, or we stop working together. Communication is key. However, if I say, and we agree that XYZ is going to happen and I can't do XYZ for you, if you're not going to do XYZ, why are we working together? I mean, why are you wasting your money? And why are you wasting my time?
At what point do you just let go?
About 2 months.
Yeah. I think that's a fair amount of time.
Yeah, we agree it's going to happen and you didn't do it. Now, I will give you the story of one of my clients who's still one of my clients. And things aren't going because of what's going on. His father got sick and passed away. His mother got sick and passed away. His uncle just got sick and passed away last week. This has been going on since last November, and I totally get it. He's got a really good team that I work with in his office, and I'm still getting the financials and everything like that, but he is mentally checked out. He can't be. I mean, think about it. You lost your mother, your father, and your uncle in the span of what, 5 months?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's hard. So I get that. I totally get that. And it's really a situation in that particular case. I'm like, okay, are you okay? Do you want to talk? And when he wants to talk, I talk. When he is totally blown on, because he's the executor of the estate for his mom and his dad. So he's got all that stuff to deal with too. So when he wants to talk, we talk. And I told him, I'm not going to bug you. You know, when you're ready, we'll continue. All right. And that's fair. I get it. It's a perfect reason for your brain not to be engaged. Right? But somebody who sits there and watches TV for 4 hours a day, that doesn't count.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that's what we have a lot of. You know, I work with some business owners with digital marketing and stuff, and I'm like, hey, I need at least your mission statement. I'm working on your website. I need your mission statement. You know, which, you know, that's pretty much the only thing I'm asking from you. You know, I have everything else I need. Send me your mission statement so I could do your About Us page. And they're like, I don't have time to right now. I'm like, you just sat there and told me about everything on Grey's Anatomy, season 1 through 8. Like, would you not have time to? I mean, this is your business. Like, I need you to hold accountability for it, you know? You're asking for one thing. Give me 4 sentences.
Yeah.
But
where do I want to go? What do I want to do? And why am I here? That's it. Answer those questions.
Yes. But yeah, but you're right. There are some legitimate reasons to, you know, take a temporary checkout for some, you know, health on you, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had one when my husband passed away, and my clients were wonderful. They were absolutely amazing. They let me grieve, and when I was ready, they all were there. And the only one who wasn't, I fired as a client. Because he wanted stuff that I, you know, was like demanding, and Bob had just passed. I'm like, okay. And I fired him.
Hey, It takes what it takes.
Mhm. The rest of them were absolutely amazing. They
But
were,
that's a testament to, you
yeah,
know, the value that you bring to them,
yeah,
you know? So yeah.
yeah. So
So,
I've been through what that one client is going through, so I totally get it.
yeah,
Yeah. When you're
definitely.
ready, we'll do it. So
And I'm
cool.
sure he appreciated it a lot.
Yeah.
So, so events with you, Vancouver, Washington, the Building Profit and Wealth. How was that?
That was cool. That was really cool.
I wish
Two
I
days,
related to it.
2 days of one day on your P&L, one day on your balance sheet. Build the profit, build the wealth. And you have to have both actually, because you can be profitable and go out of business. And like, wait a minute, how do you go be profitable, go out of business? The latest example is COVID. All
Ooh,
right. Think about it. I have several of my clients who had 80% of their business in restaurants. COVID hits.
ooh,
What happens if you don't pivot? Bye.
yeah.
You're very profitable, but you had 80% of your business in one industry that went. All
Mm,
right. So my rule is no more than 20% of your revenues come from one industry or one customer. That's it. It will not kill you in that particular case. It will be hard, but it won't kill you. So that's a perfect example of how you can be very profitable and still go out of business. I've had situations where I had one where three of the major customers of this business filed bankruptcy on him on the same week, holding him with $1 million in more than $1 million in receivables, took him out.
oh my gosh.
All right, very profitable, but your customers went bye-bye. The economy tanks. I mean, there's lots of reasons that really, really strong, profitable businesses who do not build wealth still go out of business, or they have their head in the sand. You'd be very profitable and not have the wealth. All right, wealth is your balance sheet. Profits your P&L. All right, saving 1% adds to your balance sheet every single day or every week or how often that you put, a deposit in the bank.
And that really, that simple concept that you explained seems like the cure-all. It seems like it's so simple. I actually feel like a moron now because why didn't I ever think to do that? I mean, it's such a simple concept, but
It
it
is,
can
just do it.
protect you from so much.
Yeah. I had so many of my clients that when COVID hit say, call me on the phone and go, thank you for making me put money away. Does not matter what happens. I can survive this. And it's true, they could.
That's that, I mean, you that with that concept, you really like
There's no fear of cash at that point.
you made them like recession proof.
Yeah.
You know, everyone talks about recession proof industries and how to create a recession proof business, but pretty much any business that you're in, if you're making any kind of profit, which you stated that 1%, like really protects your business.
Put it away.
Yeah.
Maybe you have enough to be put away that you don't have to work for a year. If your business goes bye-bye, you got a year to think about what you want to do. I mean, it gives you, you had mentioned the fear thing. Well, fear of cash is generally one thing. Who cares at that point? Now, you're not going to not collect your bills and stuff like that, but it's not like, oh my gosh, I can't make payroll because, company A, B, and C didn't pay me, or, Mrs. Smith didn't pay me, or, whatever else it is. You don't have that fear. You can go to sleep.
I just go to sleep.
I mean, how many entrepreneurs are up at 3 o'clock in the morning staring at the ceiling, worrying? What good is that?
Yeah. That's a very, very common occurrence there. Very.
Do something about it.
So, what tools do you what tools do you think are best for accounting? Well, for balancing your books and I've always used Quicken, but Quicken gets on my nerves.
You better be in QuickBooks, not Quicken. 'Cause
QuickBook. I'm sorry, QuickBooks. Thank you.
Quicken's just a checkbook.
Yes, I hate QuickBooks. Do you suggest anything else?
I mean, it's for small businesses and really little ones. It's either going to be QuickBooks or Sage, one of the two.
Never heard of Sage.
Sage originally started out as Peachtree Accounting in Atlanta in the 1980s, and I started working with that. And we had the big floppy disks back then. I mean, I'm dating myself here, okay? And Peachtree got bought out by Sage, which was a huge accounting firm or company, and they kept, there's now like Sage 50, Sage 100, Sage 300, I think. I'm not sure there's a 200. And if you're really little, you can do Sage 50, stuff like that. But you have to find something you're comfortable with and work with it. I mean, for some companies, QuickBooks is just fine. For some companies, Sage is just fine. Find something you like. And then there's one called Xero, Xero, which has come around lately. That's trying to compete with Quicken and Sage. So, I mean, whatever you find that you like and you're comfortable with, I could care less. What's really important is the reports that come out of it and make sure that they're accurate.
Okay, and what are we looking for?
You're looking profit and loss statement every month and the balance sheet every month.
Gotcha.
And they better be accurate because you can't make good decisions on inaccurate data.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And the books tell you how to do it, which they do.
So, what do you suggest? Well, yeah, what do you suggest for small business owners to? I gotta say this question correctly. Okay, new business owners that want to, single members want to learn how to balance their books. How would they be able to contact you, or how would they be able to reach you to be able to acquire your services?
Okay, balancing your books, go take a bookkeeping class online. Seriously, go do it.
Just take
the class. Because the CPA is going to charge you out the wazoo to do it. A bookkeeper will charge you out the wazoo to do it. Go online, go click on online bookkeeping classes, take one. I suggest everybody do that. I don't care, if you're starting a business or whatever else it is, or you're buying a business, take a basic accounting class or a basic bookkeeping class, not accounting class. It will teach you, gee, that doesn't look right, or that looks right. You'll get a sense of what the stuff is actually telling you. And that's really important.
Actually, a good answer. Actually, thank you. I actually probably need to get on that. I've been relying on somebody that I'm nervous now to go take the class and then actually go look over my bookkeeper's work right now.
Why? What are you afraid of?
I don't like being disappointed.
Well, then make sure your bookkeeper knows what he or she is doing. And the only way you can do that is if you've got the knowledge to know when something doesn't look right.
We're going to find out. So, what do you think should be the biggest takeaway for our audience today?
Put your 1% away. Absolutely put your 1% away. It is not hard to do it. It's easy not to do it too. It will help you build the wealth. It will help you sleep better at night. And everything else can come secondary. You got enough cash in the bank to cover payroll for a year, you're probably going to be sleeping pretty well.
Wow, I love that. I love that advice. Man, I'm going to be thinking about that for a while. So how can our net builders get in touch with you?
The easiest way is at ruthking.info. It's real easy. Everything that I do is on that site. So it's like okay, you did this, it's going on the site. You did this. I mean, there's links all over the place to other things, but just go to ruthking.info and you'll find everything about me. The books are there, everything with all the different classes I do and training I do is all there.
Perfect. And I'll have that link in the description, so you guys make sure you check it out. And I guess we're out of time today, and it has been a pleasure talking to you. The value you brought to the channel is amazing. And 1%, just
That's it.
1%. That is, oh, that's powerful. That's going to change so many businesses. It's going to change my business personally. I already can see that. But thank you for joining us today, Ruth. It's been a
My
pleasure.
pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, ma'am. All right, net builders. Until next time.